Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisol mu fine.
What?
Bisol mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisol mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Now, language is a powerful social mechanism. It dictates how we frame our thoughts and ideas and breeds community among like-speaking individuals. And though not a big country, the Gambia has up to 20 local languages. Now, for years, making one of these local languages a national official language has been talked about. But now it seems determined steps are being taken finally to make that a reality. But where language has the power to help us come together, it also has the power to break us apart. Up next, we're going to talk to someone in the U.S., Dr. Lamin Conteh. He's an associate professor of accounting and finance based in Raleigh, North Carolina. He heard a conversation recently about Gambian languages, but didn't like what he heard. So I began by asking what his concerns were.
Well, I would not even say the Gambia is trying to adopt a national language. I would say that Mr. Jeng, together with Mr. Sanyang, they're trying to push this throughout truth.
And who are these two gentlemen?
These two gentlemen at the Ministry of Education, in my view, they never discuss this in public. So I would not even characterize this as the Gambia is trying to develop a national language, because it has not been brought to public for the public to sit and talk about it. It was not discussed at Parliament. It was not discussed at Cabinet. The President is not aware of this. So I will beg to disagree with you to say that the Gambia is trying to develop a national language. Number one, the Gambia doesn't even have the budget. This initiative is funded by the World Bank, and after they exhaust the money, it's going to be another white elephant. I'm also concerned of the fact that the director of curriculum never came to tell people that the local language selected was Wolof. So as educators, I think we should engage in openness and have a dialogue with our people.
Is that the main problem, that it was Wolof rather than Mandinka that was chosen for this pilot project?
No. My argument again here is that we never had brainstorming where Gambians can openly talk about it. We never had this issue mentioned in Parliament, National Assembly. This was not discussed at the cabinet level. I don't even think the president is aware of it. So, anytime a Mandinka speaks, trying to defend the Mandinka tribe, some folks will jump and say you are a tribalist. I'm willing to put my reputation on the line, that I believe in coexistence. So choosing one language without input from public, in my view, it doesn't serve the purpose, because this is going to create alienation, it's going to create resentment, and also the impact that it's going to have on the cognitive development of the child. A third grade kid who is about 10 years old has not fully developed their culture. And now you are saying that you're going to add another culture. And when the child goes home, guess what? Someone is going to speak to that child in a different language. My concern also is, was it by mistake that Region 4, which is Lower River Division, consisting of Kiang and Jar, why was this region excluded from the pilot project? Was it by mistake? And why is it that only selected schools, because I don't think they have anything in Brikama, either Brikama, North Brikama, South. I don't think they have anything in Combo East, where I come from. I don't think they have anything in Fonyi. Was this by mistake? In Badibu, North Bank Division. We should be able to know where, but they're doing this in secret. So if you are an educator, you should be open. We educators are very controversial, but we want to be able to have the ability to engage the public. Why do it in secret? And remember, this is World Bank funded, just like the RISE project that Sadauda had, just like the project that Yaya Jammeh had. Gambia, we cannot sustain ourselves if we continue to depend on grants. This is 5 years, as I want to repeat myself, it's going to be another white elephant, and there will not be any national language. How are you going to instruct English or science in the national language? Chemistry, how are you going to be able to do that? I'm an accountant. Tell me how I'm going to be able to instruct accounting in the national language. I can understand if they have this in high schools, but not in the middle school, at lower levels, because you're going to confuse the child. And I thought we are here to educate the children, to provide them with the best educational means so that they can succeed in life.
As a Gambian based in the United States, I wanted to know what Dr. Lamin Conteh made of Parliament's decision to vote down the latest attempts to give Gambians in the diaspora the right to participate in Gambian elections from outside the country.
I was disappointed for the simple fact that even though we may be dual citizens, we contribute more than 25% to the GDP. And I don't understand why they are so afraid to give diasporans the right to vote. So I'm very disappointed because a few years ago, I met a gentleman last name Kamara from Sierra Leone. He contested in the presidential election in his country. And of course, he did not win. I met him somewhere in Minnesota. Nigerians can go and vote in Nigeria. Nigerians can hold cabinet positions. And Senegalese can vote. They will even have a Senegalese diaspora. But I'm very, very disappointed that our National Assembly decides to vote against the means of diasporans having the ability to come and vote, even if they have to fly to the Gambia and vote, even if they have to fly to Gambia and register. I think it was a golden opportunity that the National Assembly missed. And I hope they can reconsider our responsibility, our rights to vote in national elections. And maybe also they need to change the constitution that bans diasporans from holding cabinet positions. This, in my view, is total discrimination.
And I asked Dr. Conteh whether he had other concerns.
Well, I'm very concerned about the appetite for road construction, a little appetite for agriculture. When I look at the budget of the Gambia and look at the Ministry of Finance, their budget, no one can give me justification where the Ministry of Finance's budget is more than the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm very concerned for the simple fact that agricultural land is now converted to residency, and the Gambia is going to face food insecurity. I believe even in the West Coast, I don't think we have any land anymore. And now Fonyi is getting exhausted. I think the government needs to find a way to. I know that you cannot prevent someone from selling their property, but we should also designate areas for agriculture. So this is something that I am very concerned about, because if we sell our lands, how are we going to farm? I was fortunate to see farmland in Bakau when I was going to school, even in Serakunda, Sukuta, you name it. But now all those places have been occupied. I am concerned, that North Bank Division, Bara, Essel, Lamin, Berending, even as far back as Jifre, which is, I believe, not 20-something kilometers from Bara, that the government has not looked at relocating some of the services to North Bank Division. And I believe if the government does that, it's going to reduce the number of traffic that we have in our combo. So we are not diversifying our development. We are looking at only one area. I'm very concerned that I read that Amidija is going to build a soap factory on Bond Road. And I'm concerned about the residue that the byproduct that's going to come out of the production. Are they going to dump it in the river? And what that will do to our fish. I'm very concerned that in the Gambia, we tend to rely on imported meat. And if you look at, I'm a doctor of counting, not doctor of money, of health. But I'm very concerned about the importation of some of the stuff that have not been put through tests. I'm also concerned about the medication coming from other countries, particularly India, expired medication, and we don't have the ability to check. I'm very concerned here in America that doctors prescribe and doctors dispense, pharmacists dispense. But in our country, anybody can hold a pharmacy. And I'm kind of concerned about the dependency on those things that may have an effect on the health of our people. These are things that I'm concerned about, and I hope we can have the means of open dialogue. And that's why it is critical to have diaspora people in the conversation. But when you marginalize diasporans not to have the ability to vote, how are we going to sustain economic development? So these are things that we can meet amicably as citizens. We should not be confrontational, I used to be. But as time goes on, sometimes you learn to say that moderation is the best prescription to national unity. And that is why I reflect on the national language. I said that if it had been brought to the public where we can brainstorm, then we can reach a compromise. But when it was done secretly and it's been test piloted in selected schools, when even the director of curriculum couldn't say it was a Wolof project, only Mrs. Job, and I'm so proud of her, to say it was a Wolof project. So we need to have openness in our dialogue, and we need to trust each other. And I believe if we do that, we can move forward. But as long as something is done in secret, it doesn't serve any purpose. I'm very concerned about the level of corruption at the area councils. And I think the government is moving too slow. Anyone is found wanting of corruption, I think they should be in mile two, or they should be dismissed from their jobs. But I just cannot believe reading stuff where money is handed to, so you are a revenue collector. And then I don't even understand why we even need to have revenue collectors. Why can't they go to the market and get these people to pay at the bank? so that we can minimize corruption. Yeah. These are things that it's frightening that you get up every morning to go to your radio station to work. But you still have some people who will take $100,000, $300,000, and nothing comes out of it. And they can, and also they will argue with the auditor to say that, how can a cabinet minister to say that an auditor, the audit is just an opinion? Oh no, it is a professional opinion sanctioned by the International Auditing Standards Board. That you have to give an opinion based on integrity, objectivity, due professional care, and responsibility to the public and responsibility to your profession. But in the Gambia, at any time that an auditor provides a report, even a cabinet minister will say it's just a mere opinion.
And I put it to Dr. Lamin J. Conteh that he was referring to Dr. Ismail Assise, the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting, who was only parroting President Barrow in suggesting that audit reports are mere opinions.
Yeah, and I went after him. And even the survey, the research that was done by these wonderful young people at the University of the Gambia, saying that he disagrees with the opinion. I say, yeah, if the government disagrees with the opinion, can the government also conduct another opinion and refute the findings of the former researchers? But you cannot just simply come out there as educators. Come on. Because our discipline is not pure science. It's social science. We can have 95% confidence level. Even if we have 5% deviation, we are okay. So if these people went to do research and they found A, B, C, D, and E, that maybe 70% of Gambians want to leave the country to go to greener pastures. If we stipulate, say, 10% deviation rate, maybe it's possible only 60% of Gambians want to leave. But you as a minister, an educator, a former educator, can just come and say something like that without encouraging the president to say, well, since this is their findings, let's also do our findings to see where we can meet. But to distort something like that, to me, it was it was a golden opportunity that the minister could have done. I wrote him personally, and I told him, you made a mistake because you're supposed to be the eye. But now, guess what? Because you disagree with them, they don't want to talk to you anymore. And sometimes they even, so these are the people who are creating problems for the president because they want to be yes, yes, yes. Our country cannot move forward when we don't have genuine people who can stand up there and say the truth.
My conversation with Dr. Lamin J. Conteh took place on Saturday. And like I always do with my guests, I gave him 2 minutes to wrap up the conversation however he wanted.
What I can add to the conversation is that we are all Gambians. We all want the best for our children because others were behind us. When we were little kids going to school, for me, I can say Master John Jao, may his soul rest in peace, who was very firm, very disciplined to us, advising us to be straight. And thank God, when I decided to choose to go to school, he recommended to go to St. Augustine's, and I never said no. So those are things that we need to do, but for Gambia, in order for Gambia to move forward, we need to be genuine to each other.
Absolutely.
In order for us to make a difference in our country, we need to trust each other. But marginalizing diasporans who, in my view, without us, Jammeh would still be president. It's just so disheartening to see our National Assembly members voting against the rights of diasporans to vote in election. So if we want to consume the money to fly to Gambia to register, that's our money. We can spend it. If election comes and we want to fly back to Gambia to vote, that's our money. But all we are asking for is to allow to give us the freedom to vote, is to allow for us to even hold cabinet positions. What are they afraid of?
Indeed, what are they afraid of? Very interesting. And of course, I concluded by thanking the Associate Professor.
Thank you. I'm always available on Saturdays. I teach Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Tuesday sometimes also I'm available. So anytime you want to reach out to talk about something critical, I think we do need that from, particularly you and I, we went to the same school.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of being a product of St. Augustine because the Reverend Fathers taught us something that I think should be with us until we die.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Mr. Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Accina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.